Well, some interesting news from the provincial government not too long ago, and that is revolving around the trapping industry here in the province and the fact that limits on fur-bearing animals has been removed is, I think, the language that's being used. But to give us a insight as to what this means, real pleasure to welcome Bill Abercrombie, the president of the Alberta Trappers Association. Bill, first of all, thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, happy to do it.
So let's talk about this. Is this something the trapping industry was asking for in terms of allowing you to trap more fur-bearing animals?
It was. It's it- it's really what we were asking for was a new management strategy to accommodate um, a very kind of diverse and rapidly changing landscape. And so traditionally, um, we were trapping seasons and limits or quotas were just based from zone to zone and WMU to WMU and basically just on general habitat guidelines and what population densities were in certain large scale areas, and that's not really addressing the need for a much more localized management strategy where basically um, quotas have been removed and trappers are now being asked to manage from trapped line to trapped line. And the reason for this is because depending where you're located, the amount of remaining habitat and quality of that habitat, the amount of industrial activity or lack of development, these affect dramatically the status of the fur bear populations on that landscape. And so, really, uh, what has been decided is the most effective way to do that is to allow trappers to do what they do best because they're out on the landscape continually on their trap line, is manage according to the population that is there on that RFMA. And um, in addition to that, we're going to use our Alberta Trappers Association logbook. We have revamped that, and trappers are now going to collect an enhanced data set for management and for research as well on each RFMA on a yearly basis. And that includes all the former species that were on quota and every other fur bearer that they harvest, plus including large predators like bears, cougars, wolf activity, wolf harvest, um, and also anecdotes on habitat type, habitat quality, and what their um, uh, information is on the status of those populations. So we have been up to this point data deficient on every single species of fur bear in Alberta. And a lot of it is because we haven't had a management plan in place that really addresses the need.
So this truly allows you as trappers to have a direct bearing on population numbers on your own trap lines. And I guess maybe looking at it from an uneducated point of view like myself, I guess that means you really do have a better understanding. No one better than you folks who are on the land day in and day out, knowing what your populations are like and where the numbers need to kind of wash out at, I guess.
That's very true, Michael. And remember this is for trappers, the most important thing is being a trapper and the responsibilities, the stewardship, and the need for trappers to manage sustainably. And we haven't been doing that because we've been doing it from a bird's eye and not at the local level where it needs to get done. We need data from individual trappers real time. And just to give an example, um, in some areas, and I know wolverines are a particularly species of interest. Uh, they are spread out across the eastern slopes and into the boreal forest. Some areas, the densities are very, very high, and some areas, the densities are low. And so, where densities are high, trappers really need to be able to manage that species because wolverines can have a dramatic impact on the ecosystem in large numbers. And previous to the new management strategy, the quota was one wolverine per RFMA in Alberta. Well, there's 1,632 RFMAs in Alberta, and so the allowable harvest province-wide would be 1,632 wolverines. Um, but the reality is the wolverines are concentrated in certain areas, and it's very, very seldom that we break 100 wolverines harvested in a given year. And so where there are high densities of wolverines, they need to be managed sustainably there so that the harvest on other fur bearers and also on uh, predators, the competition for wolverines, that has to be managed as well. We've done a very good job on managing our wolf populations in these areas. Quite a bit of it is for wolverine, for caribou recovery, and for ungulate sustainability. But anytime you make management adjustments in the ecosystem, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. And so with the wolf numbers at a much more sustainable level now, there's a lot more wolverines out on the landscape than there was a decade ago. And that's the main predator and the main competitor for wolverines is wolves. Same can be said for black bears. We have a lot more black bears now than we did. So we need to get on top of this just so we can see what is happening and have the ability in real time to take the proper steps to manage properly.
And certainly your association, Bill, has had a long relationship with the scientific community, with professional biologists and others when it comes to understanding habitat, understanding the various animals that have been studied in the past. So I guess it's a roundabout way to say notwithstanding the experience of a trapper on his own trap or her trap line, there's an understanding of the science that goes along with this that can help formulate opinions and numbers and that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, you're right, Michael. We do have a long-standing relationship uh, with the research community, both on the government side and on the academic side. And there is a trust there that's been built up over many years of working together. And so I think that um, they should be very comfortable that trappers are taking this on. It's needed. There's nobody else to do this. Nobody does it better than we do. And it's going to, again, create an opportunity for us to have real data, coming in on a sustained basis over time that we can look at, uh, not only as managers, but also researchers collaboratively to make sure that we're doing the best job possible to sustain viable and healthy fur bearer populations on the landscape.
The trapper logbooks that are going to be collected and obviously the number of animals that are taken over a course of a season analyzed. So what happens at the end of the season? Is it up to the individual trapper to kind of review and say, well, maybe I've got more lynx or what have you, wolverine that I can take from the land based on what I'm seeing? How walk us through the decision element
Well,
of this?
so this speaks to our collaboration, not only with government, but with science and research. So our partner in the logbook program is the Alberta Conservation Association. They the trappers collect data, fill out the forms. It's all in digital format. It's submitted to the Alberta Conservation Association, where they will collate that data, organize it, and then analyze it and produce a data set that is not just available, to the researchers at uh, at the ACA and government and the trapping community, because we all review that, and it has proved a very, very valuable tool, over the past decade. Government will tell you this is the best sort of information that we have on fur bearers, hands down. But it'll also be available for researchers. And that is the intent, is that this is going to be a data set that's collected by trappers, but that is going to be analyzed by research biologists. And trappers don't just collect data on harvest. They combine that with the effort, the number of trap nights, all of those things, and that collective data, uh, just by running the numbers, can very, very quickly give you a status indication of the health of that population. So being able to do that RFMA to RFMA, wildlife management area to wildlife management area, zone to zone, and then collectively the whole at a province is unprecedented. And this is a very, very progressive step. Very, very, the minister understood this very well with Forestry and Parks. Todd Lone, his team understands this. And so we're very, very excited to move forward with this new management strategy.
All right, Bill, we'll leave it there. Look forward to chatting with you again and perhaps at the end of the season and just see how this grand experiment is playing out.
Anytime, Michael. Thank you.